So how does a character go from this
Who are you people? Why can't I take it off? Where am I?
to this?
I'm just Pomni.
Who are you people? Why can't I take it off? Where am I? Every day I spend here is one nightmare after the next. I knew it would end up like this because you're scared. If you're scared, you'll actually show a human emotion. You don't care about us at all. You just don't listen.
I thought I could uplift everyone. I'm just Pomni.
So, what is a reluctant hero? Reluctant heroes are defined as an ordinary or deeply flawed character who avoids the call to adventure and questions their own capabilities. Instead of seeking glory, they are forced into action by extreme circumstances or a threat to loved ones, eventually rising to the occasion. With the Amazing Digital Circus, Pomni starts out as a nervous wreck who's distrustful of everything. She ends up as a confident leader and the hero of the series. So, how did she get there? Pomni's character arc goes through 3 specific acts or chapters that I've created, and we'll be going over and showing how all of those acts represent how to grow a reluctant hero. Starting with Act 1, New World and Acceptance. This act spans from episodes 1 through 3 and covers Pomni's entrance into the series. Within episode 1, we're introduced to Pomni, the protagonist of the story. At the start, there's nothing heroic about her that stands out. She's rightfully distraught at the new world she's been dropped into. But your traditional hero wouldn't act like this. A hero would come into the situation with bravery to face the evils of this new world and would do everything morally right. But that's not what we see. She tries to convince herself that this world is all just a dream to assure herself, and after Ragatha gets attacked by Kaufmo, Pomni ditches her for the exit instead of continuing to find Cain for help. But slowly over the next 2 episodes, we see her begin to change. Within episode 2, we see her help Gummigoo through his crisis and see her grow attached to him. Even though Cain erases him, we still see her struggle, but instead of going back to where she was at the start, she begins to see the humanity within the circus through her fellow humans. And within episode 3, we see her socializing with the cast more instead of hiding out in her room. And in episode 3, Kinger gives her the advice and support that drives her future actions.
In this world, the worst thing you can do is make someone think they're not wanted or loved. You're very strong, Pomni. And I know you'll be able to get through this.
These words give her the confidence that she needs and the driving factor behind her future actions for the rest of the series. By the end of the episode, she's a lot more confident and sure of herself than before, especially when she apologizes and thanks Ragatha for her past support, showing how Pomni recognized where she herself was at and has already grown since the beginning. The next act is Call to Action and spans from episodes 4 through 6. Within this act, we see Pomni start to find her purpose within this cast and begin to help them more. At this point, Pomni has grown a bit more confident since the beginning. Throughout episode 4, the cast goes on a fast food adventure. And within the episode, Gummigoo reappears, which causes Pomni to act weird since they were friends at one point, but since he got deleted, he doesn't remember her. Over the episode, she struggles to let go, but eventually realizes that it's a part of the past that she has to let go of, symbolizing her past self at the beginning of the show. When she says goodbye to Gummigoo, she in a sense says goodbye to the old part of herself that was a nervous wreck. And when Gingle goes outside to vent, we see her and Pomni talk about how she's feeling, and Gingle puts up a boundary by cutting off the conversation once it gets to a point she doesn't want it to. Pomni takes notice of this, and at the end of the adventure when Gangle's feeling miserable, Pomni doesn't push Gangle to tell her everything, but offers a helping hand. Pomni doesn't push Gangle's boundaries, but as a friend extends her hand out to her and helps her feel wanted and cared for, a heroic act. At the beginning of episode 6, we see Jax and Pomni hanging out and talking casually. Then during the adventure, they team up and Pomni is able to bring out a good side of Jax that's never been seen before. Jax is even able to help Pomni open up more by encouraging her to embrace her wild side. After they win the game, Jax and Pomni get into a major argument when Jax starts to realize how close he's getting to Pomni. He tries to push her away, but she realizes what he's doing and challenges him on it. Then he eventually snaps and goes on an evil tangent to scare off Pomni, but she sees right through it. This event is Pomni's main call to action. She finally saw through Jax, saw what he truly was, and this gave her one of her main goals for the rest of the series, to save Jax. Not only to save Jax, but to save everyone. At this point, she's gotten close to everyone and now wants to help them all. The next act is Act 3, Call to Lead. Within episode 7, the cast learns of a potential way to leave the circus and escape. And after Pomni and Jax's argument, Jax has been left struggling, as it's harder for him to keep his facade up. But during the episode, Pomni is the one who reassures Jax that everything will be okay. But at the end of episode 7, it's revealed that Kane selfishly created the escape plan as an adventure to test the cast. So in episode 8, after being devastated with the recent events, Pomni becomes a voice of reason for the cast.
I think we need to abandon the idea of leaving.
And Kane tries to pressure the cast into going on to another adventure, and Pomni and Zubul, but mainly Pomni, stand up to Kane.
No, Kane! We have a lot on our minds right now, and we're not going on an adventure.
After Kane tortures them and forces them to go on adventures, Pomni is the one to put Kinger in darkness so that he could be sane and give them information. And she's the one who instructs everyone on what to do in order to stop Kane. At one point, Kinger is working on disabling Kane whilst Pomni and the others distract him. Kane begins to get suspicious, and in order to keep him away, Pomni does the one thing that she would have never done at the beginning.
We think your ideas suck!
Huh?
Huh? Isn't it obvious? We wanted to bait you into testing your new ideas on us so we can make fun of them behind your back.
Ha! That's not true.
Yes, it is! You're a horrible host! You don't care about us at all! You care more about stroking your own ego than giving us anything we'd actually enjoy!
She not only risks Kane hurting her, but she tells Kane to his face what she really thinks about him with no fear. And in doing so, leads the rest of the cast to be brave and to do the same, being a leader. Kinger accidentally deletes Kane, ending episode 8, leaving them all in the digital wasteland. But that's not where it ends. So what if I told you that there's actually a fourth act specifically for episode 9? The final act is Final Test and Resolution. The episode starts right where the last ended. All hope seems to be lost, and instead of putting on a brave face, Pomni breaks. But instead of retreating back into her old nervous self, with the help of Kinger, she remembers how far she's come. And she pushes on, but then Jax abstracts. She regrets not reaching out to him and talking to him sooner, but it's too late now. But instead of inaction, she chooses action. She chooses to attempt to save Jax. So she enters his mind, reads through all of his memories, and pushes past his fake personas. And even though she saw Jax's past mistakes and could have pushed him away further, she gives him what he needed all along: acceptance. And in his time of need, even though she couldn't save him physically, she saved him because he was her friend. And so after Kane returns and makes peace with the cast, he shows them all what their actual human selves are doing out in the real world. And in her final words of the show, she says,
With all that being said and done, Abby is out there, living her best life. And here, I'm just Pomni.
completing her arc. Instead of her being the person that she once knew, she accepted that she's now a different person and that she's grown. And in the major final shot of the show, she's seen at the dinner table, like at the end of episode 1, smiling and enjoying being with her friends, contrasting and showing how far she's come. Pomni started out as a nervous wreck in the beginning, distrustful and scared of everything. But over time, she became confident and found the purpose of living via her friends. So she lived and struggled in order to fight for her friends by leading them. And even though at the end everything seemed hopeless, she ended up leading them to freedom and happiness. The actions of a true hero.